Hopefully he'll get in before we start the
Hey everybody, welcome to the pre-show. This is the part of the show where we talk about what we're going to do on the show. This is not the show. But it's brought to you by SpinWiz Comics, spinwizcomics.com, also on iOS and Android. Literally, y'all, it's free comics. It's a comic and webcomic discovery platform, whatever that is. Anyway, it's a lot of damn comics, and they're all free, basically. Over 400 titles, 86 indie creators, Source Point Press, Tidal Wave, Marcosia, Away Blue World. But don't take my word for it. SpinwizComics.com. Search them on iOS and Android. Yeah, so this is pre-show. We're still waiting on fucking Leroy to show up. He said he had to put pants on, whatever that means.
He must be trying different pairs on.
He's got to find the right ones.
He's got to find like his leather, and he's probably looking for a pair of sunglasses.
He's got to look fly.
Just thinking that. He's got to.
He's got to look fly. So yeah, we're gonna talk about The Matrix. I mean,
yeah.
In a little
pretty awesome movie.
It's a classic. It's
one of my faves. But before that, we're going to talk about what we're going to do later. We have to pin down. Oh, there he is. There's his ass.
Oh, look at that.
All right, let me rearrange you guys here. There we go. I like a separate but equal.
It's Leroy.
I'm a top.
I see that.
Oh, are you a top? Do I need
I'm not a bottom.
He's not a bottom. We can switch. There you go.
There we go.
I'll move you front and center. Baby.
There you go. Yeah.
There we go.
Ride that shit, baby. Ride it.
Right.
What kind of pants did you have to put on? Were you looking for like your black snake skin to keep with the theme?
Who said I was wearing pants?
The rumor was you were getting pants on.
That was the story.
That's what I heard.
Anyway, in the pre-show, we talk about what we're going to do on the show. This is pretty damn easy. We know what we're going to talk about in the show, but we also talk about what we're going to do on future shows. When are we going to do top 5 graphic novels trade paperbacks? Do we want to do it next Tuesday, or it's Thanksgiving week?
Yeah, next Tuesday is hard for me.
Wow, it is.
Yeah. So it's busy. If not, we'll just push it to the week after.
I don't care. I can do whenever. I ain't doing shit for Thanksgiving, but like feeding myself.
Is that a racial thing? Is that a racial thing? Are you bitter still? I wouldn't blame you. I'm just saying.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. As a brown person, like it just doesn't fucking matter to me at all because
I just want to
eat.
I'm not going anywhere. I'm just gonna eat here. You know.
No shit.
That's a
Man, I got invited to so many family things, and I went back. Are you fucking nuts? And everybody hates me now in the family, and I'm like, hey, whatever. I'm not stupid.
Yeah, honestly, we all should be social distancing for.
Dude,
yes, definitely.
I don't like being this close to y'all.
Yeah, everybody's bitching about Thanksgiving and not being able to visit family. Is like you can't stand any of them anyway. So
exactly, I hate them all anyway. To hell with them. So anyway, all right. So not next week, but we'll try to schedule for
the week after.
The week after. We'll talk about it again later. But anyway, again, this is the pre-show brought to you by SpinWizComics.com. Check them out, honestly. SpinWizComics.com, also available on iOS and Android. Let's start this show.
Mm-hmm.
Damn, that's classy. Hello, everyone.
That was beautiful.
It's not classy when your trashy ass is talking over it, Gomer.
Hey, everybody. It's Geekterion Collection. We're talking about The Matrix. There's only one Matrix movie. The other two are like,
there's no.
I don't know.
No.
Hey. The Animatrix is pretty good.
The Animatrix is damn good. Anyway,
I thought about it.
But it's not a movie. But
there's only one.
It's not really a movie.
There's only one Matrix movie because I count them all as one movie.
Oh, well, we're going to dive deep into that.
See, this is why Matrix is banned on the comic book bullies.
No shit.
That's the third one.
Anyway, I'm Gomer, Adam Normal, Jules True from This Geek in Comics. And we've also got Leroy and Eli from the Comic Book Bullies podcast. Check them out right here on Facebook on the Outright Geekery page. But also they have their own YouTube channel. They're all over the place. Search for them.
Coming to Parlor.
and like,
Oh yeah, I
Real
can't wait for that.
you
Real
motherfucker.
I would so
Dude,
do
you
that.
should
I
so
would
do
so
that.
do that.
Oh, you got
You
shit.
should so do that, man. That's hilarious. Anyway,
Yeah, I'm gonna call the show "Don't Be a Pussy." That's the name of the show. Copyrighted.
that's hilarious. All right, The Matrix. Just a little bit about it, and then if you don't fucking know, send me your address. I'll come over to your house and hit you in the head with a tack hammer because you are a fucking idiot. Anyway, a 1999 American science fiction film written and directed by the Wachowskis. Real quick, they were the Wachowski brothers then. If the Wachowski sisters had taken this to Warner Brothers, would this shit have ever gotten made?
No,
Oh no.
No.
not even kind of. Warner
this shit
Brothers.
was almost not made in the
Warner
first.
Brothers. No way. No way.
It's weird, man. It's weird. Anyway,
Remember,
produced by Joel
They
Silver.
made Down before this.
They
Exactly.
So-
And the only reason why this was made was because they were screenwriters before that, and they sold the script for I think it was Assassins or something
Assassins,
like that.
yeah,
Yeah.
Assassins.
Keanu Reeves, Lawrence Fishburne, Carrie-Ann Moss, Hugo Weaving, Joe Pantoliano, Joey Pants. And it's the first installment of the Matrix franchise. It's the only installment of the Matrix.
The only
dystopian future, humanity is unknowingly trapped inside a simulated reality called the Matrix, created by intelligent machines to distract humans while using their bodies as an energy source. When computer programmer Thomas Anderson, under the hacker alias Neo, uncovers the truth, not really.
Honestly, I completely forgot his real name.
Mr. Anderson.
Well, I knew Anderson, but the Thomas, his first
when does he
name.
ever get called Thomas?
Yeah, he's just Neo or Mr.
One
Anderson.
scene. They call him Thomas like 1 or 2 scenes, and that is literally it for the rest of the franchise.
But that's kind of the point.
Exactly.
Because
I
Thomas
agree.
Anderson
That
is a
kind of the
nobody.
point.
Exactly.
It's a nobody. That's
Yeah.
not his real name. Not his real
It
name.
won 4 Academy Awards.
It did.
Really?
Editing,
So it's
sound
not
edit-
a theme park ride?
It's not. This is real cinema, baby.
Right.
This is
Real
real
cinema.
cinema.
Happy birthday to Martin Scorsese, also.
Oh yeah, it is.
That's right.
He's
Marty
watching all of you.
Scorsese.
Yeah, if you're watching this right now, Marty, let us know, eyebrows and all. Sound editing, visual effects.
Coon, I liked it. No.
I don't know, cyberpunk, science fiction,
Japanese
Japanese.
movie before the term.
It really
even
was,
coined.
man. It really was.
Yeah.
Japanese animation influences, martial arts films, wire
Westerns.
fu.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so there's a whole lot here besides it simply being an action movie, as The Matrix is influenced by myth and philosophy in a really big way, as well as things like sort of Ghost in the Shell and the nature of reality. So there's a lot of big ideas. I think my favorite allegory, or not allegory, but like comparisons and influences, Plato's allegory of the cave, which is really deep philosophical shit about if people are in a cave and all they see is the cave wall, they're like strapped, chained to the cave. Their idea of reality is limited to just the shadows that show up on the cave. Hey, that's weird. Look, Howard Giger saying hello. Hey, Howard Giger.
Ghost in the Shell.
But yeah, welcome to the show.
Oh, also, you forgot one.
Go ahead.
Alice in Wonderland.
Yes, that is actually reading my mind, Leroy, in my note.
Mhm.
There are numerous
Superman.
references.
Superman, yeah.
Yes. Oh,
Yep.
yeah. There are numerous references to Alice in Wonderland.
White Rabbit.
The White Rabbit at the very beginning. The Rabbit Hole. And mirrors. There's a lot to do with mirrors. Everything from, when he touches the mirror, when he first takes the pill and starts to trip out, to Morpheus's glasses, him seeing the reflection. Him seeing the reflection of Smith in his glasses. So it was, this is rated R.
Oh yeah.
This would, I don't think this would be rated R today.
Oh, it definitely wouldn't.
Yeah.
Not today, but it would be rated R for the language, if anything.
Well, they would. Oh, you mean if you take the same movie and have it now? Would it be rated
the
R?
same movie now, it would still be rated R, but just because of the language. I think
Just because of one fuck?
Yeah,
you can get away with one fuck.
You
I think there's 2. I think there's like 2.
There it is. That second fuck. That second fuck makes it rated R. And that's
The Wachowskis were like, put it in. Put the 2 fuck.
I think maybe the broken arm at the beginning. I think that might have pushed it over. Like if they
I
just
think they would.
Oh.
I think they would have really dialed down the gun violence nowadays.
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
Oh yeah.
Because this got
let's-
hit
Oh
in
yeah, this is
99.
like 99. Yeah,
This is right after
before.
Columbine.
Was it before or
Oh,
after?
look
It
at
was
that.
right after
Favorite-
Columbine.
Okay.
Man, thanks, Sean. I appreciate that. My favorite geek culture dude. Thanks, Sean. I appreciate that. You haven't met these other motherfuckers though. They're a lot better than me.
No, Gomer. You have a fan. Just run with it.
Another thing. This came out in '99. All right. There's definitely a terrorist angle with Morpheus, supposedly being this terrorist leader.
Yeah.
Would that have flown 2 years after this movie came out originally?
No,
way.
no, definitely.
2 years
No.
after that. In fact, that's why they bury it in the sequels, as they're just freedom fighters. They're not terrorists.
Because
There's
you
a
can look at it
totally
from a
different
different angle. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
You can look at it from this angle. They could be the bad guys of this movie.
Oh, absolutely.
If you really think about it, right?
Well, in the second movie,
Everybody else in the world.
the second movie, they're expecting the machines to attack Zion. That's like that, that's the terrorist attack. They're, having those anxieties of the upcoming battle that's going to happen, the upcoming war.
Yeah.
Also, in this movie, they kill a lot of normal people. They give you tons of villains
Both
in the
sides.
And
ridiculous-
honestly, I think that's an homage also.
They kill
so many bystanders.
They kill a lot of cops, not normal people. A lot of cops.
Right,
That's
you're
true.
A
right.
lot of cops
you're
when
right,
they kill them.
Right,
That's true.
They kill a lot of cops in this movie.
And that scene, like when they go into the security guards, and they got the gun stuff like that. That is the direct homage to Terminator.
Oh,
Matter of
absolutely.
fact, they even play like the cue of the theme song to Terminator right before they walk in there. Like same thing when Schwarzenegger says, "I'll be back." They don't say it, but they pretty much acted out the exact same way, just mowing down a bunch of security guards, just like Arnold mowed down a whole bunch of cops. So
John Woo movies, all that shit. Yeah.
They had what was the Crash the Tiger, Hidden Dragon guys were the stunt coordinators or something?
Yeah,
they were all that wire foo shit.
All that wire stuff.
Yeah.
They had a lot of wire scenes in this.
And this is 1999. So in 1997, Hong Kong, it used to be its own free state ruled by the British. But in 1997, it went back to China rule, back to communist rule. So a lot of filmmakers and actors basically went to Hollywood. That's why we got Jackie Chan and Jet Li
John
movies
Woo.
doing. Yeah, John Woo came here and started doing Face Off and Broken Arrow and shit. Jet Li was doing Lethal Weapon movies and all that. And
I couldn't speak English doing fucking Lethal Weapon movies.
Donnie Yen was showed up in Blade, and So this is right about that time where Hong Kong action film stars basically went international.
Yeah, thank God for communism, right? For real. Holy shit.
But this was the start of the no one's in America, no one really knew except kung fu fans knew what wire work was. I mean, they've been doing that in China for decades. So, when they came over here and it blew everybody's mind. And then everyone started doing wire work here and they sucked at it, like the Daredevil movie or Charlie's Angels.
Charlie's Angels.
They're like wobbly and shit. You could tell they weren't as graceful as they were in China.
Yeah.
But the point was that it influenced Hollywood, period. Just like comic book movies influence movies now. Basically, Hollywood, Hong Kong movies influence Hollywood back in 2000, like that. Because that's all they were doing is just ripping them off.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I don't know where you guys want to run with this, but there's 3 angles that I took away. It sort of predicted how and this was kind of before Internet 2.0. Internet was there.
Oh, very much.
It wasn't as ubiquitous as it is now. Nobody had a phone in their damn pocket. No one had the internet in their pocket, but it sort of predicted how we would all be plugged in. There's also this Jesus angle.
I don't even think it was an angle. They flat out say it. They call him Jesus Christ.
It came out
Jesus Christ in the movie.
Yeah, it came out in Jesus Christ movie.
Yeah.
And there's so much to that, dude. There's a line where Morpheus is talking about occupations in the Matrix, and he says like doctor, accountant, and then he says carpenter, which means it's like it doesn't line up with all of these jobs he was saying. Why you say carpenter, Morpheus?
It's the same thing as Man of Steel, where Clark just happens to be 33 years old.
Sure.
Right.
Yep. All right. There's also, and I don't know how new this is, and I don't even know how much we can talk to this, but we'll tackle all 3 of these and any other angles you want to. But in a recent interview, Lana Wachowski said, answered a question that the whole entire movie is about transitioning, gender transition. I'm not sure.
I call bullshit. That's just me.
I kind of call bullshit too. However, if you take science fiction, you can take that to mean whatever is meaningful to you and apply it to that if you want.
Your interpretation of something can change over time.
Yeah, I think, and we discussed this on the Bullies, I think they weren't transitioned yet, but I think those ideas that are inherently in the Matrix, because the first movie is all about becoming who you are, becoming who you're meant to be. That's the main theme of that whole movie, you know.
Know thyself.
Believing in yourself, believing who you truly are, and finding your purpose in life. That's what the first movie is about. Becoming.
The Oracle even has
being born,
Yeah, above the doorway, you know, in Latin, know thyself. Lana Wachowski said in that interview that the character of Switch was actually supposed to be like a woman in the real world, and then when she went to the
man in the Matrix,
or vice versa.
The character's name was Switch,
and they wouldn't let her do that.
Well, of course they wouldn't let her do that. It was 1999. They wouldn't let.
Also, with Trinity, everybody thought she was a man in the Matrix. You know?
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, if we're talking about problems, Trinity's character is one of the biggest problems I have with the whole movie.
What? No, she was awesome in this.
No, she was awesome. Okay. Morpheus says to Neo at one point, we have a rule. We don't bring people out once they hit a certain age. But Trinity hacking the IRS DB database, when the hell she do that? How old was she when she did that? So what's his age cutoff?
She could have been a teenager. She could have been.
They never said how long Trinity has been.
Yeah, we have no idea how long she's been out. They never really dive into
No one
that.
thought Trinity was a man.
No, I'm saying they said it.
Neo
thought all the stuff she was doing, they thought I thought she was a man. You know, they
with
said
Rob
it.
Zombie in the background.
Yep.
Man, this movie has a lot of great rock songs in it that work really well for it.
Yeah.
And that's my thing. Like I said, it's just like Eli said, there were seeds planted.
Don't worry.
Wait,
the movie's not going to turn you gay. So
yes,
chill out.
you'll be
maybe it will. I don't know. Maybe this is a gateway for you. If it is, mazel tov. I don't know.
Hey, I thought Trinity was hot too.
But that is definitely an interpretation, that a valid interpretation that somebody could take away from watching this film.
Sure.
So I don't think that. I do call bullshit on. I don't think that was necessarily Lana's intent when she originally wrote it. I do think it is. You know,
I don't think it was the central theme of the movie.
Right.
It's there.
It's definitely there, though.
But you know what?
I don't think they intended to write that in there. I don't think it was conscious in them yet because they weren't transitioned yet. But I'm saying that the initial ideas and themes are there, and transgender people can read into that and probably related to it a lot, you know, especially 20 years later, you know.
Oh yeah.
There's another thing also that I read that article also. You know, when the red pill and the blue pill, one of the pills is like the red pill to, like when you are transitioning to add estrogen to you or slow down testosterone, is it a red pill or something?
Okay.
I heard. I think I heard that from the article.
Well, I heard that from you, so.
Oh well. I know I heard that, so I guess I heard it from myself. I don't know.
All right, so yeah, I'm not sure we're qualified to. Leroy has just proven it. We are not qualified to talk about the transaction.
What we can say is that the obvious theme of the movie is self-discovery.
Yeah,
what that means to anybody is different for absolutely everybody, and anybody can take that message to however they want to feel, because that's the whole point of the movie. Is Neo and actually all of the characters are trying to figure out really who they are and how they fit into everything. Morpheus has an idea, but even he, throughout the movie, is kind of lost in trying to make his fate happen.
He's got faith, though.
He does. That's the thing.
Right.
Big, huge spirituality. Yes, faith and spirituality is another strong theme, and people's belief in that. You know.
Yes.
You know.
I mean, Trinity has faith in love, even though she
even her name.
It. Yeah.
Even her name, Trinity, refers to, you know, a aspect at least of, you know, Christianity. But there's a lot of stuff here. There's Buddhism in there, you know. They even dig deeper into that in the
yin and yang. Yin and yang.
Yeah.
There's so much black and white in all the movies.
Tons of it.
The idea of Taoism and Buddhism is so strongly inherent in this movie, especially the use of color, black and white. When Neo and Morpheus fight in the dojo. One's in a black gi, one's in a white gi, but they both have a black stripe or a white stripe to signify the yin and yang symbols. in the second movie, during the truck, when the freeway chase and the trucks collide, one's a black truck, one's a white truck. You know, that's constantly going on through all the movies. This sort of opposites colliding, the balance, because Neo threw the system out of balance. And Smith had to, this is going into the other movies, Smith had to realign the other movies realign the balance to the system by becoming the exact opposite of Neo in the other movies. But
going to the old trilogy of the movie, you're saying that Smith was the one.
No, Smith was the opposite of.
There's a theory. I know you guys have a theory.
I'm not saying that. But I'm just saying that they were opposite. I mean, sure. I'm open to that thing because
if we're gonna talk
he's
about
the one who resets. He's the one who destroys Neo or becomes Neo. I don't know.
Well, if we're talking about the whole story of all three movies, right, which we should not be doing, but
we shouldn't because there
were like 6 different versions of the Matrix, and the one Neo's role is just another form of control so that they can wipe out the humans filled in Zion and then start over. Okay, but they weren't able to do that this time because of Smith and him being that virus or whatever. So Neo jumping into Smith at the end of the first one is what starts the whole cast. See, that's why there's a problem here. This was never meant to be a trilogy, man.
No.
I've heard a theory that
I don't think
the first movie was supposed to have been a trilogy, and they just crammed it all into one. I've heard that theory too.
Oh, they should have stretched that shit out.
Yeah, that's why when it did come to the second and third, it feels so disjointed.
The first movie is definitely a complete movie by itself. You can just watch it and be done with it, and you're good. The other two, yeah. The other two, you have to watch both of them. They are intrinsically tied together.
Smith was the original Roman.
That's awesome.
Oh man.
Yeah. Enough about Smith. However, man, Hugo Weaving. I'm pretty sure this was the first movie I watched Hugo Weaving in.
Really?
Yeah.
It was mine. I had no idea who he was. He took over
the planet for a while.
Every sci-fi fantasy movie, he was in it.
I wasn't old enough, so my first Hugo Weaving was Lord of the Rings.
You fucking young.
Yeah, I mean that's where he ended up. Yeah.
He was in Transformers.
He was in Transformers. He was Megatron in the first one.
Yep.
Oh, the voice. Oh shit.
Yep.
Yeah, it's weird.
Damn.
Man, that's so weird.
I totally forgot that happened.
What else? What else we got on this?
I mean, for me, I really got into the whole idea of kind of like free will. I mean, this movie it's a culmination of the 90s as a decade. Kind of everything that the 90s became. It was very violent. It was also had a strong anti-authoritarian idea going on, which was the exact which was a reaction to the 80s because the 80s was all about conformity and fitting in, all those teen dramas and John Hughes movies where the nerds become popular and fit, like Revenge of the Nerds. They end up their fraternity becomes part of the college and and Weird Science and all those teen comedies were all about the nerds trying to fit in. It was all about conformity. And then you had this anti-conformity going through the 90s where people, wanted to rebel against society and against, the system. And the system can mean like so many things. It could mean, government or a shitty job you hate, And so there was all that going on in this flick. Neo hated his mundane life and wanted something more. And
we were on the edge of this big awakening in cyberspace. You know what I mean? Where everyone was about to be connected.
And there was a lot of fear about that also around the time. And Y2K.
Y2K, yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. We were all connected. And I don't know, man. For me, there was this idea, especially in, 99 and that time where I did feel like I wasn't part of the system that had been constructed around me. You know what I mean?
Well, that goes to something else. I think that plays into the comic book tropes of this movie, where it's playing to the power fantasy.
Sure.
That's basically what it is. Like I said, it's just some outsider, outcast. It turns out to be the one, the chosen one, whatever you want to call it. He's actually
all powerful,
the really the special one.
He gets the special abilities and
it's like every comic book movie ever, and they play into the tropes. And this is why we talk about Superman in this. It's all the same thing.
Yeah, but this was before any of those movies.
No, that idea of the power fantasy, that's been going on forever.
Oh, sure, yeah. But in terms of the the Renaissance that we find ourselves in of the superhero movie, where it's literally keeping the movie industry alive.
Oh, and honestly, the DNA of the modern superhero movie of the new millennium came from this movie.
Yes,
specifically 100% from this movie. Yeah. It started like it matured and it upgraded from there. But you go from Matrix and you're trying to update X-Men. Like X-Men is like the first modern millennium, superhero movie. Yeah. And that's right. How do we make this where people will relate to it? Well, we saw the Matrix. Just do that. That's why they're just all wearing black. That's why they're all like emo and all this shit like that, Yeah. So it taught people how to make superhero movies for the new millennium. We can't do Superman. We can't even do Batman 89 anymore.
Yeah.
We have to update.
Man. Yeah. It's too cheesy.
Too cheesy.
Yeah. And this movie also used comic book art.
Oh, totally.
In a cinematic form. The bullet time, the slow motion. Those frozen comic book moments where you see Neo in those cool superhero poses. That's totally
just the movie Zack Snyder wish he could make.
Yeah. Dude, definitely.
Yeah. Definitely.
And while there was definitely some CGI in this, there wasn't CGI like
there was CGI, but they didn't
see today.
Yeah, they didn't overuse the CGI, and honestly, a lot of the CGI in it still looks pretty damn good.
Great, except for the sequels, it's terrible. That park fight,
they overused it.
Because they overused it. Yeah,
they overused it. Fucking DBZ fight in the third one. Holy!
Oh no, I love that. That's about the only thing I like
too,
about that
but
movie.
Man, it does not hold up visually.
I love
it of the effects. Man.
Speaking of, I think this movie actually had an effect on anime becoming popular in the West also.
Oh, very much
definitely.
Just because we were so rare for anything Eastern, we had to get our hands on it. So
that's still the best Superman fight ever.
It's the best DBZ fight.
Best DBZ fight, Superman fight, whatever you want to call it.
Holy shit. Yeah. I think my favorite part of the movie is the second time you see the movie.
This is the first movie you have to watch twice. It demands you watch it twice.
Yeah, I saw it multiple times in the theaters that summer.
Yeah.
I loved this. It was like
it was one of those
I
movies
wanted to see in a movie. Yeah,
because you go see the movie and then people ask you about, you saw the Matrix? What was it about? And you're like,
I can't tell you. I can't tell you.
It's not like you didn't want to spoil it.
It's
you
a
can't
great
explain
action movie.
Because it unfolds like a graphic novel.
It's a great action movie about hackers.
Yeah. I mean, the way the movie's written, how it unfolds, it totally locks you in. You don't know what's happening for half the movie.
I believe they used the Wachowskis. I believe the Wachowskis used to be comic book writers.
Yeah, they did.
They would have to be. The knowledge of it, the way they wrote this movie makes too much sense.
And then they storyboarded the whole movie too. And if you look at some of the storyboard art, it straight up looks like a comic book.
Steve Scroce. It's Steve
Jeff
Scroce.
Darrow. They got Jeff Darrow to do the concept art. You can see because I would love watching this movie the first time. I was noticing, because I read heavy metal. I was reading Hard Boiled and The Big Guy by Jeff Darrow. I was like, there's like that scene with the billboard with the gun. That's right out of Hard Boiled, which is a Jeff Darrow book. So I was like, being like I said, it was everything I wanted to see as a geek at the time. I was into kung fu, I was into like comics and all that shit, and I was like, whoa, this is like I said, a culmination of everything that I thought was cool in the 90s.
That's almost what the movie felt like. It felt like this bubbling culture that was just waiting to get out, and Wachowski just molded it and just made it into a blockbuster movie. But it was always like you said, through the 90s, it was always there.
Yeah, well, let's shit the nerds were into. Like, if you're into comic book and John Woo movies and shit, they threw that all in there and just
And they thought the way to do it was to make another Batman with Mr. Freeze or Dick Tracy or some shit like that. No, that's not the way to do it. You want to tap into it. Watch what they're doing with these comic books right now. Watch Spawn. Even though they fucked over Spawn, that's basically what they were tapping into.
Can we not say? Let's talk like Star Wars. It borrowed from so many things, a lot of Western different things, Kurosawa films, samurai culture, things like that. So everything that came into Star Trek, it stole from Star Trek like a mug. Doctor Who. Yeah. Everything that Star Wars was already there. Lucas just put it all together. I think this is an example of that same thing.
It's the exact same thing. Lucas took everything he was a
the
fan
Crow
of.
is an obvious heavy influence.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah. I mean, as far as the soundtrack goes, I mean, in terms of making a movie that young people would actually enjoy in the 90s, you were hard-pressed to find movies that were action movies that weren't just for like 35, 45-year-old men. In the 90s, The Matrix stands out as something that young people talked about more than anything.
Yeah. As an R-rated movie, which is weird.
As an R-rated movie,
well, that's weird. Every movie had to be R-rated because if it was PG-13, the kids would be like, well, we want to see something not made for us, or we think we're not allowed to see. Just like Deadpool. You go see Deadpool, the first movie, it was nothing but kids in that movie.
But, like the 90s was about extreme violence. I mean, we can all agree. Our comic books, our music, our TV shows.
Socially, man.
And I think
the world was violent. We were at war for like, a half a decade.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think, it has that cynical, attitude of the 90s where it was like, fuck it, who cares? That's what kind of everybody had to, the youth of the time had that attitude. And that's why Tarantino movies got popular, because it was all about, this violent shit. And the Matrix, I think why it stands out is because it had deeper meanings, because, when we talk about Pulp Fiction and Tarantino, the popularity of his movies, and it was all violence and that's all they focused on, but they missed the point to his movies. And after that, you had this imitations of people trying to emulate Tarantino by throwing, gangsters and guns and hot chicks go-go dancing and shit. They missed the point about the relationship that was in his movie. And here's The Matrix, which has this very extreme violence and like some of the dopest action scenes ever. But it also had deeper meaning to it.
Absolutely.
I think that's why it stands out.
Does the action almost eclipse the philosophy and things?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
really easy.
Very much so.
Well, I don't think it does, because we're sitting here talking this entire movie about the philosophy and not the action.
Sure.
I mean, that's why everybody hates the sequel.
But to be fair, we are the people. Right. Yeah. To be fair, the action is for the average person. Right. The people.
The action's still fantastic.
Movies, the action's fantastic.
It's still like if you're if you're just watching this for the action, this is still like one of the best action movies.
Like even if you don't understand the plot at all.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah, the action of this movie pretty much influenced the entire decade of every kind of movie that was out there. They just see what the Matrix did, just do that.
Yeah.
So.
All right. So again, let me go back to we got a question from the fucking Peanut Gallery here. I think this is totally right. What parts of the Matrix affected BBS? It's a terrible question. You're a terrible person.
Terrible question.
Oh man, I mean, like I said, you want to talk? I got an answer for you. I have an answer for you. Like I said, just tell me Zack Snyder wasn't influenced by the Matrix. Please, just tell me he wasn't.
Yeah.
So any movie he does, he's borrowed from.
You can actually see the action in the Matrix. There's not a bunch of smoke
I want
and
it darker than the Matrix. Turn the lights down.
Yeah. Bunch of smoke and debris and lightning bolts flying through the screen.
And exactly what Eli just said, where people were watching Quentin Tarantino movies and missing the point of the movies, just like Zack Snyder was trying to put philosophy in the BVS and completely missed the point because he was trying to mean something with these movies. Like I said, he was influenced by the movie, he just missed the point of it.
See, the thing with The Matrix is it's so poignant because it's so simple. The philosophy they input into this movie, the metaphors with the internet and the plugged-in age, everything is very direct. The characters are easy to understand because they don't make them overly complex. They don't bog them down in ridiculous side plot. The love story is barely there. You don't even know it's there until it's there.
Until she says, "Oh, I love you," and he's like, "Oh yeah, you do."
That's a little quick.
It just happens. But that's how real life is. In that things are happening so fast. You don't really take it all in. That's kind of the point of why you have to see The Matrix twice. It's because it's hard to take in everything that's happening around you. There's so much subtlety in this first movie. This is why the other two movies aren't very good. Is because
they over-explain things.
They over-explain things. You have to understand that. Yes, that's what makes
to that. Like why it means so much. So why it means different things to different people, because people can take what they want out of it, and and be influenced by it. Like especially the fact that the love scene or the love story, Neo didn't believe he was the one, but she believed he was one because she was in love with them, and Morpheus believed he was the one. So this whole thing of spirituality, that just goes into the idea. It's not about organized religion. It's what each of us take personally and believe in to get us by. To me, religion is a personal decision. What makes you sleep at night? What brings peace to your life? And they show that in this movie. She believes in him. Morpheus believes in him, but it's all for different reasons, and that's how it should be. It shouldn't be like this dogmatic law that everyone needs to follow. It should be, it's a personal decision, a personal faith,
Yeah. And he didn't believe it because he was still hanging on to them. Basically, he become the one until he died and was reborn. So he had to completely leave his other life behind, his whole identity behind before he can
that's
completely.
the Jesus thing too.
That's
true
thing.
Also, yeah.
But also the Oracle, she's the symbol of spirituality, Mm-hmm. She's not like a god or anything or this deity.
Like a guru kind of.
All she's doing, she's she's like a Bible verse. She's that or a Confucius quote or a meme you see or a movie line that people like. Oh yeah, no shit. I can dig that. That's all she is. And she tells him exactly what he needs to hear, because, if she tells him, yeah, you're the one, you're supposed to save the world. Well, either he's going to freak out or he's going to become an egotistical asshole. But she told him just what he needed to do what he needed to do,
because she also points out the flaw in her logic in saying like, do you think that vase would have been broken had I not told you that?
Exactly.
She already points the hole in her whole existence.
Yes.
In that everything I tell you could come to fruition because you believe everything I tell you. But that doesn't mean it could per se come true if you don't believe fucking anything I tell you.
Yeah, believe in yourself. That's what she's trying to say.
But that's another point the movie's trying to make. So we just talked about free will. Is the movie saying there's no free will if he's destined to be this?
Well, that's what Smith says in the second movie when he says we're not free from purpose, But that's I won't get into that. But again, back to the Oracle. That's why I love her character because, well, especially in the second movie when he's got all these doubts, he's having nightmares. He's like, why am I here? What am I doing? And then he sees the Oracle and she looks at him and she's like, look at you. You turned out all right. It's like. We're always our worst critics. We're always getting down on ourselves. We don't believe in ourselves and believe in our abilities that we can do the things we're supposed to do. And that's what the Oracle is for. Is just to remind you who you are, who he is, and the things that he's able to do, and so he can go do the shit he's supposed to do.
Right. But back to the free will thing. Like I said, we got. The whole thing about the Matrix that people are trying to rebel from social constructs. Like we can talk about, the digital stuff like that, but main thing is social constructs, trying to stay away from that. But if Morpheus is taking these people, put them on a boat, still running, telling everything to do, isn't this just another social construct, just framed differently?
That's why Cypher wants out.
Yeah,
exactly. That's why Cypher wanted out.
He was the more comfortable
because it's not free will. He's still under the same rules he was in the Matrix.
Because that's essentially Morpheus is essentially trying to do a religion. That is an organized religion.
The Nebuchadnezzar is its own matrix in and of itself.
Yeah.
Matrix within a matrix.
But that again, back to the theme of the whole trilogy, free will, choice. Humans have the ability to choose, where machines they don't. They
go by programming.
You push the button, the machine's going to turn on and do what it.
But I think that's what the movie's trying to say, that there is no choice.
Yeah,
I mean, basically, the human beings were machines.
Choice is an illusion.
We were programmed, right?
Choice is an illusion.
Yeah,
but
even at the end.
Okay, go ahead.
Go ahead. All right, so we're gonna bring up Matrix Reloaded one more time. We're gonna bring it up one more time, and at the end, where the architect, the Colonel Sanders, whatever you want to call him,
I love that dude.
He gave Neo a choice: you either go this way or go that way.
Yeah, but he was trying to control the choice.
It wasn't a choice. It wasn't a choice. Because when Neo goes that way and you look at the screen that predicts every single emotion or future or predictability that Neo does, every single choice goes that way.
Yep.
He knew he was going to do that.
Yes.
So
he even alludes to it by saying
just because you know the choice somebody's going to make, that they still made that choice.
But the choice is an illusion. It wouldn't matter. He gave him two choices.
He still made that choice. Just because he decided to pick the same thing 100 times out of 100 times doesn't mean he still doesn't have the illusion, you know? Like, just because if I have a choice between a Coke and a Pepsi, and every single time I'm going to pick up a Pepsi instead of a Coke, that doesn't mean I still don't have the choice between the Coke and the Pepsi.
Well, let's say you
don't have a choice.
You don't. Let's say you have a choice.
You have a choice.
You have a choice between standing in the middle of the street or moving over to the sidewalk. Technically, yeah, you have a choice, but your ass is going to get run over if you choose A. So do you really have a choice? No. You've got, and back to what Leroy said about the architect in Reloaded. He even says, your predecessors, the earlier versions of Neo, they had this love, this adoration for society that was in a general sense. They loved humanity. Neo's was a personal one. It was centered on an individual. And they even showed, yes, she came into the Matrix to save you. That's how ironic it is. He knew. The architect knew the choice he was going to make. He knew he wasn't going to go.
And the thing is, if there is a choice about love, is there really a choice?
No.
Here's what I'm going to say. I hate to make this reference because if you don't know, I absolutely loathe Robert Kirkman. But there is the metaphor in The Walking Dead that the living people, they themselves are the Walking Dead.
Yeah, that's
everybody
the Walking
in that
Dead
universe is the dead.
It's not The Walking Dead isn't titled for the zombies, it's titled for the people.
In the Matrix, to me, it's that they're all robots in a system. That there is a system. There is no difference between the people and the machines. They are all cogs within a machine. They are all fulfilling roles. It's sort of a metaphor in that no matter how much you rebel, especially in the 90s, because you got to think about what the 90s were. Sure. They were rebelling against the 80s, but there was rebellion in the 80s. At the same time, all you're doing is fulfilling the prophecy of this is what every generation does every decade. You dress it up differently, but you all fulfill the same roles in the same system.
You're turning this movie into a tragedy. Because what you're saying is it doesn't matter where we go.
Like Neo, Trinity, and Morpheus, they could be the villains of the movie.
You're right.
They can, and I play devil's advocate in that if you kind of think about it, they're all machines. They're all fulfilling roles within a system. Because at the end of the day, the robots could have killed them at any time, right? That's kind of the whole point we find out later is that this is a system. This does happen. Yes, you do go for the Matrix. And that's like the Nebuchadnezzar being a system and being another Matrix of why
Cyber even says it. He says, ignorance is bliss. I'd rather be plugged in there than have to do the shit I'm doing here. So,
and that's the metaphor I was going with in that you're only going from being one robot in a machine to another robot.
But even Cypher, he didn't want the mundane job that he had before.
Right. He of course wanted something
which led him to being unplugged. He wanted to be he wanted the wealth and the power and
But at the same time, will he really know? Because he also wanted his memory erased. So.
Yeah, so he would never even know what he ended up doing.
Yeah. So you brought something up, Jules, in terms of the machines could have killed the humans at any time, and they were willing to not have the humans plugged in to use that power. Why
when
did
Neo gets out? Think about it.
Why did the machines keep the humans around? Was it just to have a power source, or is there something there where the machines are still sort of seeking acceptance, approval, a relationship with their creators?
Well, now you're digging into like the Animatrix.
That's another theme I find fascinating about the whole Blade Runner thing, where AI becomes self-aware and realizes, oh my God, I'm a machine. But then,
right,
like
that's
good.
That's a very heavy theme in the Animatrix. I mean, they do the whole history of the machines, and the machines just basically gain self-awareness. And at one point, they create their own nation and try to join the United Nations and try to get that acceptance. And it's only after humans don't accept them, that shit goes wrong.
Yeah, Pinocchio trying to become a real boy, you know.
Exactly.
That whole thing in Blade Runner when Roy Batty meets Tyrell, when he says, well, in the original cuts he says, I want more like fucker, but it's better in the director's cuts, he says, I want more like father, which makes more sense because he's essentially meeting God. That's what the architect is. Neo essentially meets God. You know, that's the metaphor of that.
The architect,
and gains that knowledge, gains, you know, the meaning of existence or what have you.
And he asks him the question, why am I here? Like, if you meet God, that's what the number one question, why am I here?
Yeah.
So,
but I still believe, I mean, for me, I think Neo possessed abilities that the machines didn't expect, which is why Smith became what he did. I mean, Smith.
Well, I'm not sure that
because the machines didn't want Smith. They wanted Smith destroyed too because Smith was fucking up everything.
Yeah.
So I think that's the thing is Neo stands out as the anomaly because he was doing things that the other ones before him never could do.
Something happened after he met with the architect that changed him because he was able to actually feel sentinels and things like that in the real world. Yeah. But he didn't have that power before. And his predecessors in the other Matrixes, they never went back to the real world after they had that part removed.
They were
they went to the source.
The choice. Remember, the machines were trying to control the choice. You either go here, choose your 6 delegates to start Zion again, and blah, 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 or you go here and go try to save your love where you're going to die and we're going to destroy everything, blah, 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 blah. But no, he decided to go save his love and also whip ass at the same time, which is what the machines didn't expect because they couldn't calculate. Again, machines can't calculate free will. They cannot calculate that. You know,
the Oracle also says at one point, we can't see past the choices that we don't understand. And I think that has something in it as well. You know what I mean? In that aspect. This is not the Matrix. This is Matrix Reloaded.
Because even she was like, you have to make that choice. And Neo's like, I don't want to. And she's like, you have to.
Yeah,
like you have to choose between your love or Zion. You know what? Neo chose both.
Well, just like in the first movie, he had to choose between Morpheus and himself. One of you were going to die. You know.
Yeah, and
he did die technically,
and he did die. Right.
Yeah.
So I was saying earlier, I think my favorite part of this movie was the second time I saw it, and it's because of all of the little Easter eggs that they have in the dialogue and in the visuals.
Man, I love in like when he's in the back of that car and it's raining, you see the green and it looks like the source code for the Matrix.
When he's in that meeting with his boss and they're washing the windows.
Yep.
Yeah. That's the Matrix code.
When they put the bug in him, that freaked me the fuck out.
Oh, dude, that freaked me the fuck out.
Because you think it's a normal movie, and you see that you're like, what the hell is going on? You know?
Yeah. That part where like the drug dealer comes to his house to pick up his wares or whatever, and Neo asks him, "You ever can't tell the difference between being awake and being asleep?" And the dude's like, "Yeah, mescaline." And then he eats a red pill later on. I've had mescaline that looked exactly like that. Just saying. His boss said at one point, "You're gonna have to make a choice. Either you want to be part of this company, or," and it's like, "Oh, what?"
Or even when Smith says you are Neo and you are Thomas Anderson, one of these has a future.
Lives.
Right. One of these lives have a future, one of them don't, you know.
Yeah. So I loved that, dude. Man, for a while I was really broke. I was living with my old lady and a roommate, and we could not afford a TV. I went and bought a TV at a pawn shop, and it had a built-in VHS player. I put the Matrix in, and the fucking Matrix never came out of that. It broke. And if there was a VHS in the TV, it wouldn't play anything else. You couldn't go to any other aux or anything. So we literally had the Matrix on loop 24 hours a day for like 6 months until we
this movie popularized the DVD.
It did.
It popularized the DVD.
I ever got.
Right. It's a lot of people. It was like the best-selling DVD for like ever.
And you know those things.
It still also came out on Laserdisc though, which I think is great.
When I first got my DVD of it, you know, there was those where you could do it was almost like making a GIF where you can set the in point and out point and have something play over and over. That part where Trinity in the beginning, where Trinity, you know, jumps through the window and down the stairs and pulls up her double-fisted guns. I kept doing that. I kept because I thought that was so bad.
Dude, and that's another thing about this movie. It just throws you into this, and Trinity's sitting there, and these cops come in, and she just starts whipping ass like I had never seen anybody whip ass on TV before. I was like, what the hell what is this? And it has this ability to just suck you in.
They had to do a lot of intensive training for that stuff. They had to do like months and months of hardcore physical.
And that's Wu Ping, because the whole Hong Kong, that's what they did in Hong Kong. They got like pop stars and music stars and singers to star in their movies, and they made them learn the fight scenes and to do their own choreography. That's why I love that that's them doing the fight scenes.
Yeah, and each character has their own fighting style too, because like Morpheus is all he's all resilient and sort of, all in one area. What's her name? Trinity is all graceful and stuff.
Yeah, they all have their own unique sort of styles to them. Even Neo's style
Neo doesn't kick a lot. He does a lot of punches and stuff.
He doesn't kick because he had a hurt back at the time, so he didn't do a lot of kicking.
It's actually on. It's on HBO Max.
It is they're all on HBO.
Oh, there's an update if you if you have an update. Oh, if you have a Fire Stick, they just updated where HBO Max is now on the Fire Stick. Just happened today.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got Roku.
Because technically, most of you don't know it. You already paying for HBO Max, just not using it.
AT&T. If you got AT&T anything, you get it for free.
Mm-hmm.
You've already got it. Go to your page and sign in. So yeah, man. I mean, okay, let's talk about bullet time special effects. Okay, the way they did this is they would literally line like a dozen cameras.
Mm-hmm. It was more than a dozen
cameras. Yeah, but whatever, and have them, take pictures in an order and then edit that later. There ain't no fucking way that they would use bullet time anymore.
No.
It would all be CGI.
Right, they would just be CGI. But around that time, it got so annoying. Yeah. That time, it got so annoying, the Super Bowl was using it.
Dude, no shit. It really did, man. Max Payne, remember that shit? Max Payne.
But that's how awesome it was. Because remember, the first time you saw that scene, that blew your mind. It was amazing.
Trinity jumping in the air and just floating there. How the hell they do that? Yeah.
Oh, when Neo does the thing. Right.
Oh, the shot. The subway fight, when they're firing their guns. Dude, that's a Western. That clip is straight West.
You even hear like a little whistle and like the newspaper rustling right before they do it.
Yeah, like a tumbleweed. Oh, yeah, dude. So great.
But then they do the John Woo thing where they both jump through the air, like, doing Chow Yun Fat, just firing at each other. And, then the standoff where they both got, you're out, so are you. And that's right out of A Better Tomorrow. You know what I mean?
And they do the Dragon Ball Z, tons of fists coming out his chest in that same fight scene.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Straight up. There's so much homages in that one fight.
The Rage Against the Machine song at the end.
Oh, man.
Like, after you watch this whole fucking badass movie, then for it to end with that song, I was like, holy
with him flying. And
with him flying off like Superman. That's the shit that blew my mind.
Me too, dude. I was like, what the hell? Yeah, how the Wachowskis didn't know this? They would want more of these damn movies.
Okay. This is probably top 5 greatest movie of all time, in my opinion.
Oh,
like I was watching this movie last night. A lot of times we request movies, watch movies, and I'm halfway interested in shit. Like it's a cool top 5 comic book movies. But this movie, I'm like, this is one of the greatest movies, if not the greatest movie we've ever made. Yeah. Out of Drunken Master, exactly.
Joker's saying the drunken. They even when they're doing combat training, it even says drunken boxing on one of the programs.
On one of the programs,
Drunken boxing.
That was one of the coolest damn things in the movie too, man. I just want to learn something. Just plug in a CD. What do I want to learn today?
I mean, if you think we're almost there now.
We're close. Elon,
we have Google, Facebook. We didn't have this stuff in 1999. We couldn't just, learn how to,
RPG. You're fucking upgrading.
Right.
Get your new ability, unlock abilities and shit.
Exactly.
We touched on video games, but we didn't really get into the video game angle. This turned people into video game characters.
This is a comic book movie and a video game movie.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Man, there were terrible video games for this. The Enter the Matrix, the Master
Matrix.
I think one of them was okay.
Fun memories of playing Enter the Matrix, but it was not a great game.
So bad.
It was bad, but fun.
It had cool cutscenes.
Yeah, that cool cutscene.
Is that Roy Jones Jr.? Because Roy Jones.
Well, he was in Reloaded.
He was in Reloaded, but he's really in the Enter the Matrix video game. He's got a lot more scenes where him and Neo
kind of side, there's a whole side story in there.
Fight. And Roy Jones is like, I was about to kick your ass.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that is Roy Jones Jr. in that.
Roy Jones Jr.
That's right.
I think his name is Bane in the movie.
Yeah, his name is Bane in the movie.
Yeah.
Oh, he's actually got speaking lines in that fucking movie. Damn.
Yeah.
Why did his career take off? He wasn't bad in that.
Roy Jones had a rap album that whole time.
Did he? Oh my God.
He did. He did.
Oh, at the time, he was the shit at the time.
He was everywhere, like I said, that video game we were talking about, it had deleted scenes from the movie.
It did.
Like we were talking about.
One of the main selling points of that game.
Yeah. So, like I said, when the scene where she goes in and shoots one of them with a silver bullet, turns out they were vampires.
They were vampires.
They confirmed that. They confirmed that in the game. Right. Yeah.
When they go to the castle and you're fighting in the hot chick, what's her name? I can't even remember her name.
Persephone.
The hot chick.
She was. Yeah, they were vampire. You fought vampires in that.
Because when she walks in there's a vampire movie playing on there. So so that.
Yeah.
And that's the whole thing too. They were saying like when they keep recoding the Matrix, they leave stuff from other Matrixes, bring them over, which could explain a lot of the myths that we have today.
Yeah.
Like the Loch Ness Monster, aliens, blah, blah, all this stuff like that.
Yeah.
So,
It's all just it's all just a hiccup. It's a glitch in the Matrix. This entire fucking live stream is a glitch in the Matrix.
It totally is.
I mean, hell, we're plugged in right now.
We totally are. We are.
This is what they were afraid of back in 1999, what we're doing right now.
I got my dark saber, motherfuckers.
Oh, no. Nice. I want one shit.
10 years from now, we won't even see our faces. We're gonna be avatars. We're gonna be like cartoon avatars at the time.
We'll just all be logged in.
Put filters on. You're gonna see flowers on my eyes and shit.
I really won't be wearing pants then.
Sleeping in tubs.
We'll be actually plugged into a Matrix. We'll have like full bodysuits and everything.
All right, let's talk about that because Elon Musk has come out and said there's a 50-50 chance that we are actually living in a simulation right now.
No.
How would you know? Just like the Matrix, how would you know, Leroy? We're not real. We're actually computer programs in a simulation running right now.
That's a little bit too flat earthish right there.
We can prove that the earth ain't flat.
All I gotta
There's a guy just flew to space yesterday.
If this is all a simulation, I want to thank the motherfucker who programmed orgasms because those are awesome.
Dude, thank you. Weed, thank you for the weed.
A nut is awesome.
Thank you for the scotch. I love that. There are some things I'm down on, but we'll focus like the second and third Matrix movies. They're terrible.
I was gonna say, no, if we're all living in a program, why Grant Morrison, man? How do you start that good and end up that bad?
What's his name? Mouse? When Mouse is saying, hey, they might have fucked up, was it
a tasty wheat or something?
Tasty wheat or whatever, or why everything tastes like chicken, because how would machines know what chicken tastes like or whatever?
I love Dude, he's actually one of my favorite characters because he's horny all the time. He's like, I just want to get laid.
Yeah.
And
like every other dude on the internet.
Maybe
somebody, this motherfucker created internet porn. Matrix internet porn.
He had OnlyFans before anybody else did. Like, you want to meet the chick in the red? I can make it happen.
OnlyFans way.
Subscribe $20 a month.
Subscribe to my channel.
And maybe somebody fucked up, and every time I'm eating pizza, I'm supposed to bust a nut, and they fucked that up, and that doesn't happen now.
Yeah.
Well, it's like saying, like, how do we know the sky is blue? The sky could be red. We just assume it's blue. So, just things we just accept. So.
Yeah,
chicken tastes like chicken because that's what we accepted. So
everything tastes like chicken. Why do so many things taste like chicken though? Because the machines don't know what chicken
put hot
tastes
sauce
like.
And barbecue on everything.
Yeah, man.
Any other angles anybody want to take for this? If not,
well, if we're only talking about the first movie, then we better stop because I could go on and on.
I could too, man, because there is so much extra added by the second and third movie. But it almost ruins it. It's like the Vader effect, the less is more. when they gave us too much Matrix, it kind of, I don't know, it
diluted it.
It diluted
diminishing returns.
Exactly. Yeah, it was very diminishing returns, and I don't know. I don't give Warner Brothers any slack anymore. I think they're what fucked up the second and third.
Well, because the movie was such a big hit, they demanded they make 2 more, even though there was nothing else to do with the movie.
Exactly. To be fair, Warner Brothers fucks up most things they do, so it wouldn't surprise me.
They should just
dude, like the entire DC movie collection is a great example of they just.
I don't know.
They don't know when to stop. They don't.
Yeah, I like Shazam.
Stop.
Yeah,
Shazam's okay. we all agree Shazam is okay.
Well, it's a kids movie. It's a little
I legitimately like Shazam.
It's a little kids movie, man.
It is a little kids movie, but it's a good little kids movie.
It has some fucked up shit in it for a kids movie though.
Yeah,
that whole horror scene in it.
Oh yeah,
dude. To that, Hunchback of Notre Dame. There's a lot of fucked up kids movies. There's a lot of fucked up kids movies.
I mean, yeah, if you grew up in the 80s, you had all kind of fucked up kids.
Dude, there were fucking Rambo toys in the 80s.
RoboCop.
There was a Highlander and a RoboCop cartoon.
Poltergeist is rated PG.
Fucked up movies I've made. It was like PG or some shit.
Oh shit, man! Yeah, that movie still fucks with me. So, all right. Anything else before we wrap this thing? I don't know if we can dive any deeper into the Matrix unless we plug ourselves in.
Nah, man. Let's wrap this thing.
Yeah. Leroy, I think, said it. This is probably in my top 3 movies of all time. If I really sat down and thought about it, it's probably in my top 3 movies of all time. It's that damn good.
It's better than every MCU movie.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. I would say.
I know Eli was going to make that. He said every movie's better.
It is definitely a better constructed movie.
I just thought that was just common knowledge.
I don't agree. But we all have our own different opinions. Because Keanu's performance, just nope.
Let's talk about Keanu Reeves. Let's talk about
Keanu
Reeves. I'm not going to shit on him this time. I'm not going to shit on it like I normally do.
I love Keanu Reeves. I really do.
Because in this movie, Keanu Reeves is basically like our point of view character.
He is
he's not supposed to have a personality.
Yeah.
Because he's our eyes through this world.
He's got such a blank face that you can just project your own.
And that's why what's the chick from Twilight work? Kristen Stewart, whatever her name is.
Yeah.
That's why those movies work. Because she's the most blandest, vanilla person you could ever meet in your life. But when you watch the movie, you see yourself through her eyes because she's such a blank slate. And the same thing with Keanu Reeves in this movie. You need to have a blank slate while everybody else is overacting, overperforming. Agent Smith is just chewing scenery every time he steps.
He is. I love it. I love it so much.
I'll give you that. I'll give you that. But that's, to me, the reason why the other 2 movies don't work. Because there's zero growth in Keanu Reeves' acting. Because the first movie, it works for him being the blank slate.
He's a bad actor.
Yeah, that's the thing.
He's a bad actor.
he is.
Johnny Mnemonic.
But is he really a bad actor if you've been acting for 30 years? You can't be bad at your job doing it for 30 years.
I don't know. I don't think he's a bad actor.
Won a fucking Academy Award. Are you kidding me? Yes, you can be a bad actor and have a really long career.
Yes, you that absolutely happens all of the time. So
I'm not saying a great actor. I'm just saying a bad actor. That's all. If you were that bad,
yeah, he might not. He's not great. We can all agree.
He's not great.
Yeah, he's not great. He's not going to win an Oscar.
I still say he should have been Batman. I don't give a fuck.
I'm with you.
I'm with you too.
Better than Constantine. Better than
he all the fight. He needs to stay away from all comic book movies because he's not that great of an actor to be in any of them, especially Constantine 1 or 2.
Yeah, you got John Wick. What? We're up to 5 John Wicks now.
Double in that bat suit if they got Keanu Reeves.
Yeah. That's fair.
You're right.
That's fair. Yeah. John Hamm for Batman, though. John Hamm for Batman. I've been campaigning for like a decade.
Nah.
He's too old now, but he was Batman in Mad Men. He was Bruce Wayne. He had 2 lives the whole show. He looks like Bruce Wayne.
Nah, I don't like it either.
Still better than Batfleck. I take him over Batfleck.
I like Ben Affleck as Batman. I don't have a problem with
Ben Affleck was not the problem with Ben Affleck.
Exactly.
Batman.
He can't scratch his own face. They made him so bulky that it does not look like Batman can scratch his own face.
Yeah, that's not been
that. It's supposed to be like the Dark Knight Returns.
People, I don't care.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like the Dark Knight Returns. Bulkier, fat man, whatever, like that. So
Bane wearing a tank top couldn't wipe his own ass. What are you talking about?
Michael Keaton couldn't turn his head and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, I don't like Michael Keaton. Unpopular opinion.
Yeah, I don't mind Michael Keaton.
I don't like Jerry Seinfeld as Bruce Wayne. They made him a geek. Dude, that is the geekiest, lamest Bruce Wayne of all time.
Now, we've talked about this on the Bully podcast before. Yeah. Honestly, Michael Keaton being Batman in that first 89 movie doesn't really matter because Jack Nicholson just takes over that movie so much.
Oh, yeah.
I honestly could stick anybody in that role and it would have worked.
Oh, absolutely.
And the best henchman.
Bob.
I
love Bob the Goon.
I love Bob the Goon.
Bob the Goon.
Man, he's my favorite.
I love Bob.
All right, so yeah, that was The Matrix, y'all. There's a fourth one coming out. They just gotten some serious shit for that. Y'all hear about that?
I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, had a big after party after filming wrapped during the pandemic.
Oh,
so now there's an investigation. Yeah.
Oh, a bunch of people test positive or some shit? Or
no, they don't have any positive tests.
Yeah, just threw a party and
they threw a party.
Yeah. Oh, damn. Were they in Texas
Leroy
or
took
something?
me down a rabbit hole earlier talking about Ruby Rose.
Oh, no.
Y'all hear about that shit? Leroy got a theory that she hurt herself on another movie and then went back to Batwoman and was like, ooh, my neck hurts. I think something happened on the set of this show, not the other show.
That's what I heard. She got hurt on another set, but they didn't cover her insurance on that movie, so she pretended like she got hurt on Batwoman, so Warner Brothers could fit.
I have heard that.
What a great
Somebody
idea.
should have paid.
Which is why they fired her, right?
Yeah, somebody should pay for the shit.
What kind of shitty movies she doing? They ain't got insurance.
Yeah,
the Dormant. It's like some kind of. She shot it in between like production breakoffs of Batwoman.
That's so weird, dude. That's so weird.
Yeah. Another thing, back to like Hong Kong and the influence. Jackie Chan had a hard time getting insurance when he came over here because they didn't want him dying.
Oh yeah, Chris Tucker had a joke about that. He was like, "If I want my money paid up front."
Because he was constantly getting injured on set in Hong Kong. Like he's always falling and breaking something. That's why you watch
a perfectionist.
You watch a lot of his movies. They got all the outtakes. At the end of the
best
credits.
part, right?
Those are the best parts of those movies. The outtakes, man.
Watching him getting fucked up, right?
Watch him just hurting himself, trying to, go through a ladder and
jumping out of a 3-story window.
Jackass before Jackass.
Yeah.
That's awesome. All right, everybody. That was The Matrix. There'll be a fourth one. It's probably going to be terrible.
Probably.
But we'll talk about it when it comes out.
I'm
the
excited.
Bullies will too.
And that's the thing. I was a fan. Like I love the first movie so much that like Star Wars. I just fell in love with the world. I fell in love with the concept, the ideas. That I don't give a shit. I like all the movies.
I just want to revisit that universe and those characters. Yeah.
Yeah. Just take me back. Give me more. Like any other thing that I'm into.
Yep. 100%, man.
Why I keep reading comic books,
So if we ever get movie, no shit. I read Taskmaster last week too, man. What the hell was
It was weird. It
sucked.
It's a Benny Hill theme.
It was
Did you have the Benny Hill theme going in your head during the golf cart?
He watched Tiger Woods the night before. What the fuck?
If you want to fight go against Bullseye in a golf match, of course you're going to watch Tiger Woods.
Why are Bullseye and Taskmaster playing golf? What the hell?
Why not?
Like the rich assholes just hired them. It's like, I need a really good partner. Never mind. That's something else. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out, listening. If you're listening on us on Facebook, YouTube, or on Twitter, go over to those other, platforms. Search us out, Outright Geekery. We do all kinds of shows over here, man. We do Top 5, which we're going to do not next week, maybe the week before or after. I don't know yet. Top 5 graphic novels, trade paperbacks is going to happen. Damn it.
I got my top 5.
I got mine too, man. Yep. I hate it, but I've got it. This motherfucker's still reading Jules.
Look, he will have it by then.
I'm trying to figure out I got like 10 of them fighting for one spot.
Dude, it was very hard for me to whittle down.
It's been hard.
But we also have our weekly shows. Monday, we do just news and reviews. Tuesday, we do previews. The comic book bullies are all over the place. Monday, it's like really, 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 really early Tuesday morning, I think is the better way to do it.
Well, Monday morning, but yeah.
Oh yeah, Monday morning.
We're the anomaly.
They are the anomaly.
We're OG after dark.
Then you motherfuckers will record at 2:00 in the morning and still have more people in the chat than we do on our at 7:00 on Sunday night. So, whatever. So yeah, check them out. Search Comic Book Bullies all over the place. Come back here for all of our shows that we've got going on. The next Geekterion collection that we are doing is Gremlins.
Yeah, just in time for Christmas.
Exactly.
The Christmas
movie. Exactly why.
That was Adam's
favorite Christmas movie, so I picked it.
It was either gonna be that or Die Hard.
Those were the two choices.
Or Home Alone. Home Alone can be on the list too.
Home Alone's great. Home Alone's great. But if we did Home Alone, we want to do Home Alone 2.
If he was a dope, that'd be a horror movie.
What? Oh yeah, dude.
Well, they did that.
That's an adult. He's Batman. It's all about prep time.
I think they did a short where Macaulay Culkin's character basically became Saw.
Yeah.
Or he's Rambo as a kid. You know?
Right.
Yeah.
Bit of both.
He's not native enough. He's not native enough to be.
He got adopted.
Yeah. You claim that motherfucker, Eli. You guys got Macaulay Culkin now.
Oh, not Macaulay. No. He'll get his ass whooped when he goes back to the res and shit.
Awesome. So yeah, that's a wrap. Thanks everybody for hanging out and doing this. It's been a great ass time. So yeah, join us next time. We're gonna do top 5. We're gonna do another Geekterion. So yeah, just stay tuned. Hang out to the channel. Thanks for everybody in the chat. And yeah, bye everybody. I need to get a better outro for this. I thought I had one.